Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Kieran Tierney fears he will miss rest of season for Arsenal. Kieran Tierney is understood to believe that he has made his final appearance of the season after he was missing for Arsenal for their trip to Crystal Palace on Monday, according to a report from The Times. Tierney has been a huge player for the Gunners this season. He went into Monday having only missed a couple of games due to injury. The Scotland international is being spoken about as a contender for the captaincy next season, so it was a real setback to not have him for the trip to Selhurst Park. And Arsenal were punished. They were beaten 3-0, with Nuno Tavares being taken off at the break and Granit Xhaka finishing the game at left back. Arteta made no secret of his concern about Tierney's injury after full time, and it would appear that the 24-year-old is fearful that he may be done for the campaign. The Times reports that Tierney believes that his knee injury will rule him out of the rest of the season. Serious injury to Kieran Tierney looks to be the last thing Arsenal need. On paper, Arsenal remain favourites to finish in the top 4. They have a game in hand over Tottenham, who are on the same number of points. It's still in the Gunners' hands. But fans may fear that Monday proves to be a real turning point in the race. Arsenal's confidence may have taken a hit, and obviously, the news about Tierney just compounds that disappointment. He is often Arsenal's most consistent player. Clearly, he leaves a big void when he is unavailable. Arteta says he's really concerned about Partey after injury. Mikel Arteta has admitted that Arsenal now have a big concern about Thomas Partey after he came off with an injury during their disappointing defeat on Monday night, in comments reported by Football London. It proved to be a miserable night for the Gunners. They travelled to Selhurst Park knowing that any positive result against Crystal Palace would lift them back into the top 4. Ultimately, however, it was a nightmare for Arsenal. The damage was done during the first half. Arsenal were awful and made a number of costly mistakes, but they continued to struggle for an affluency after the break also. Partey was one of those who struggled. The midfielder was extremely poor, and injury was added to insult with 15 minutes remaining with the Ghanaian having to come off with an injury. Unfortunately, Arteta suggested that the early signs of the injury to Partey are not good. I don't know, but he felt something in the same area that he got injured previously, so that's a big concern, he said, as reported by Football London. Moving on from Monday's result will be tough. Confidence will have taken a big knock, and losing Partey to injury will not help. He has been outstanding when he has been fit throughout his time at the Emirates, so the club will desperately hope that the injury to Partey is nowhere near as serious as Arteta fears. Pundit tears into Nuno Tavares after Arsenal loss at Crystal Palace. German Pundit has questioned whether Nuno Tavares is good enough to play for Arsenal on talkSPORT following the left-back substitution during their defeat on Monday night. The Gunners were beaten 3-0 by Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. With that, they missed the chance to move back in the top 4 in the Premier League. Arsenal were dealt a blow ahead of the contest with Kieran Tierney missing out due to injury. The problem, however, presented Tavares with the chance to make his first start since the FA Cup defeat to Nottingham Forest in January. The Portuguese was replaced after 35 minutes at the City Ground, and unfortunately, his evening did not last too much longer on Monday. Arsenal were 2-0 down at the break, and Mikel Arteta decided to replace him with Gabriel Martinelli. That saw Granit Xhaka move to left back. It has a really mixed first season at the Emirates for the 22-year-old, but Pennant suggested that he has serious questions about whether Tavares is up to the level required for Arsenal. Every time I've seen him playing, he's got the captain hook. He's been absolutely ripped off the pitch, he told talkSPORT. The worst one was Forest, where he was awful and he's been hooked again. It just shows, is he up to it? Is he Arsenal pedigree? Can he really perform at this level or in this team? Some may be alarmed by how Tavares has fared in his last 2 starts, but to suggest that he was the only Arsenal player to struggle on Monday would be ridiculous and unfair. In fact, some supporters would probably be able to pick out several others who were worse. Arsenal fans has seen glimpses of the best of Tavares earlier in the campaign, so there is absolutely no reason to write him off altogether less than a year after his £8 million move. He's struggling right now, but he has the potential to turn his fortunes around at some stage. Arteta names the Arsenal player who really should have scored last night. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta wasn't pleased with his side's performance against the Crystal Palace last night, and all of his players, including Emile Smith-Rowe, would have been disappointed. The 21-year-old Englishman returned to the starting 11 on the left flank in place of Gabriel Martinelli. That was a surprise to many, but considering that the Brazilian was away in South America on international duty, it made sense. Smith-Rowe, much like most Arsenal players last night, didn't have a great game. He found himself in some good positions at time, but just couldn't have the kind of impact that he would have liked. The youngster had a golden opportunity at one point in the second half from close range. Sadly, his shot was weak and just rolled into the patch of the goalkeeper. Arteta felt that had to go in. Speaking after the disappointing defeat at Crystal Palace last night, Arteta was asked if the result was down to his side missing chances in front of goal. He said, as per Arsenal.com, "Today there were too many things that went wrong at the same time. There are a few examples. Emile had a clear chance before that as well which would have made it 2-1. Bukayo had another one, and then Eddie hit the post. But overall, the performance didn't deserve the win or to get something out of the game. We have to be honest with ourselves." Smith-Rowe has been in fine goal-scoring form this season, and Arteta expected him to bury that opportunity. Had he done that, the Gunners would have been right back in the game and may even have picked up a point. Sadly for them, it wasn't meant to be. Arsenal have to find a way to recover now. The fact that they have a game in hand over Tottenham is a good thing, and if they win that, last night's loss will not matter too much. Mikel Arteta says Arsenal did not win enough duels in 3-0 Crystal Palace loss. Mikel Arteta shared with his post-match press conference what he said to the Arsenal players before the game about winning enough duels to win the game. He said they didn't do that on a night which will give Tottenham encouragement in the chase after they beat Newcastle 5-1 the day before. No, I could not see it. We discussed it just before kick-off. The way you win here is when you compete the way you should, he said. That means you win duels, have presence and the composure on the pitch to manage certain situations. They are a really physical team, and the pitch is not the best to do that, so you have to find a way to do other things that usually you don't have to do. We didn't manage to do that. It was a bad night for Arsenal in terms of result and the performance. There is no getting away from that. It's important that there is no panic from the players or fans right now. It has been a good season so far, and they have it within their gift to finish the job. There will be thrills and spills, and none of the other top 4 contenders, and even to be a certain extent Chelsea, can be trusted to get 6 or 7 wins to close out the season. Barcelona rival Arsenal for a transfer of Premier League star Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves could be one of Barcelona's underdog targets to strengthen their midfield this summer, and will face competition from Arsenal should they move for the Wolves man. According to Todo Vigages, the Portuguese footballer has already been in the Catalan side's spotlight in the past, and the midfielder now has it on him again, with Neves not managing to renew his contract at Wolverhampton Wanderers as of now. The Portuguese international's contract ends with Wolves in the summer of 2024, and if his signature is not stamped on a new agreement, he could be transferred next June. Barcelona are aware of the situation and are closely following the player, with Toto Vigages stating that the Blaugrana side inquired about the midfield this winter in the negotiations for the loan deal of Adama Traore. At that time, they did not get into the matter, but they were summoned to talk once this season ends. Both clubs have a good relationship at the moment after the Trincao and Adama deals being completed in the last 6 months, which could help in the negotiations. The Catalan side will, however, face competition from Arsenal. The Evening Standard reports that the Gunners have a long list of targets for their midfield, which includes Douglas Luiz, Ruben Neves and Yuri Tielemans. Neves could be a great partner for Thomas Partey in Arsenal's midfield, with his range of passing and attacking trait being a complement to the Ghanaian's defensive attributes in the middle. Arsenal, would seem to be a better destination for the Portuguese international, as Barca's midfield is jam-packed with young talent who seem less likely to lose their places should the Wolves midfielder arrive. Barcelona to enter into talks over a new contract for Arsenal target Ousmane Dembele. Barcelona are to enter talks with Ousmane Dembele over a new contract in the coming days, according to Spanish reporter Gerard Romero via Twitch. The French winger's current contract is set to expire in June 2022 and will otherwise become a free agent if a deal is not reached. Dembele had previously been linked with a move to the Emirates, with Arsenal poised to find a replacement for Nicolas Pepe, who has failed to make a real impact since his £72 million move to North London. Barcelona's sporting director Matteo Almani will meet with Moussa Sissoko, the forward's agent, in Morocco this week, according to ESPN. Almani has hinted that Barcelona have changed their stance on Dembele, alerting the radar of Kroenke and Arsenal, who would have likely pursued Dembele as a free agent in the summer. For us, he can stay as long as remains within the club's sustainable salary limit and is proportionate to his teammates, Almani said ahead of Sunday's 1-0 victory over Sevilla. Dembele has had somewhat of a resurgence since the arrival of Xavi, after being left out of back-to-back matches towards the end of the January transfer window. Since then, Dembele has rewarded his manager, notching 10 assists in his 13 league matches played this season, according to Transfer Market, as well as some eye-catching displays on both ends of the pitch. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.